How are you?
Doing great.
Dude, I mean, I went live once ChatGPT 5 launched and we put them on Singularity podcast. And I like the voice in certain ways. It's at least not as annoying, but that's my take on voice. Then I looked under the hood a little bit in ChatGPT 5, and you're saying, Neil, the hype is not what it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess our boy Sam Altman experienced quite a bit of backlash actually of the new rollout of the ChatGPT 5. And really it came down to some underlying changes that they made. If you've noticed, if you go to ChatGPT now, you can't pick and select which model you were using.
Yeah, I'm
And
able to
so
do it in the $200 version. Just to give you an FYI,
in the $200 version, right? For
I'm
free,
able
you
to
can't.
go ChatGPT 5 thinking, ChatGPT 5 Pro, and then the legacy model.
Right. But if you're free, that's not possible. So effectively what they've done is simplifies the routing. So when people put in a prompt, so it'll figure out which model is it going to use best, whether it's reasoning or more logical execution type of work, right? So that's where they made some of those routing upgrades and decisions. Now, here's the thing, right? Like gotta match reality to the hype, right? Like I think even Sam Altman himself was like, this new Chat GPT would be equivalent to talking to an expert level PhD. But that doesn't seem to be the case. And in fact, a lot of users have reported that um, some of the data so far has not been accurate.
Oh yeah, it's
And so,
hallucinating like crazy.
yeah, it's still
It
hallucinating.
prepared me for a court hearing I had, and it was horrid.
It prepared for court.
So I had to prompt it and say you're wrong. So good
Yes.
point. But that was in the voice.
Well,
So
part of that is they wanted to remove the special affinity that AI has where it always agrees with you on something, but sometimes it just turns out to be just purely wrong, right? And so now I believe they're in kind of in the state of open AI of doing a little bit of damage control now and making sure that people that are satisfied with the model. But the real crux of it, though, is Neil, is that we were seeing these huge leaps and bounds between each model, but now it seems just like the smartphone industry, we're only just slowly starting to incrementally make new adjustments. Is it fair
right.
to say that we've started to hit a
We hit a
wall?
wall, and it's you got to
Yeah.
spend money on every one of them. One of the goals that I'm making, because I'm working with an AI company that I have inked the deal, I'm going to start to do, and like I've had a crazy week but tomorrow start to do a podcast, and I'm on just I'm going to hit the record, and I'm going to talk about all the models, and I'm going to go and review every one of the models, not just
Hmm.
ChatGPT. Everyone knows ChatGPT. They don't know Grok. They don't know, Meta. The reason ChatGPT made it free for everyone, and I want to go back into that conversation, is because Meta has spent so much money. They're going to make AI completely free. They're never going to charge because they're going to get put ads. So they're going back to the ad based model. So Meta's going to give everything for free, and everyone's scrambling for what Zuck's trying to do. Zuck's going to make it everything free, and that's why he's trying to steal all the people and then make it free and make his money on his advertising.
Yeah,
That
because the real arbiter of the data is going to be you and me
Right,
inputting our
yeah,
data into the
but
system.
who the hell's going to do that? So that's again the
Absolutely.
battle. See, this is a similar situation that happened with social audio. Clubhouse was on fire, blowing up, and they didn't take any buyers, and they're now worth nothing. And everyone that did social audio doesn't give a shit about it anymore. Now, chat AI is not going to happen that way, but ChatGPT is either going to completely win or lose big time, and it's over. And the big tech companies are going to smash him. And then there's going to be an AI for everybody. Hey, you want voice? You're going to go to Grok. You want code? You go to Claude. If you want a quick answer, real time answer, you go to Meta. That
Yeah.
is what's going to end up happening. You're going to have 20 different apps, but how many people have the intelligence to do that versus just choosing one and losing?
Yeah. Well, I think it comes to dispelling the myth that we may have been approaching artificial general intelligence, right? Where the AI could do everything we all hope and desired it would do,
If we
right?
could, it can if we prompt it right. But that means you got to use the right one and you got to know if it's right.
Well, even well, even then, right? LLMs, they have their own limitations. They're really just based to mimic human thought, language, and knowledge. Um, it, it it it's not super critical for solving other complex problems that we have in the world. It's good at some things, and then other things not so much. So you're starting to find the hype for AI is starting to kind of come down to reality, where we are finding some really great use cases for AI, and it's especially like coding, right? Like that's
Oh.
super useful. But in other aspects, it's just not, you just don't put an LLM on it. Other times it's better to just use a hammer compared to using a jackhammer, right?
See, and that's an interesting thing. I'm probably unlike you, but I'm not arguing that fact. I use AI for everything. I don't want my brain to, and then I go and I throw my stuff in afterwards. Here's the thing, it's all about prompt engineering. Unless they create an AI that's going to have the intelligence of a PhD. And if Altman said that, he's a freaking used car salesman because it's not.
That's right.
Okay, so it has the knowledge of whoever is driving it. This is it. So if you drive a
That's
sports
right.
car and know what you're doing, right? If you
Yeah.
drive a sports car, I I'm not going to do as good as Mario Andretti does it. Same thing when it comes to AI. What are your thoughts?
Well, the driver has to control the inputs, right? So you're going to turn left, turn right, know where to go. And I found that just keeping the driver's seat fresh with new ideas, new knowledge, even myself, sometimes it does involve me hopping into a middle of the AI process. I want to do it myself because maybe that challenges my driver's seat in a different way that I haven't before, right? And I can see certain insights that an LLM just can't necessarily see. It doesn't have live conversations that you have with customers. So it's not going to have that data unless you feed it. And so, certain things like intuition that we're going to have as humans, like these are things are, you know,
Productivity is the key
it's going to,
component. It
yeah,
it's productivity at the end of the day. It's you can become much more stronger. And
sure.
they said what AI is going to do is remove the entry level position. That's what it's going to do is going to remove the entry level position. It's never going to replace something else. Now, it does better medical diagnosis than a doctor, fast, on the fly, without them doing a lot of research. It can really hone in, but it's input output. And the problem is, people aren't great at prompting things. And it's a lot of work. And you can't, and when you see these companies saying, buy our program, we'll give you the right prompts, those prompts won't freaking work after a week because it
Yeah.
changes and the brain changes.
Well, and that's the core thing about this new GPT-5 new changes. Um, Everybody who's built all of their models on the older models, you're going to have to update your stuff now, because the way that the model was currently generating some type of output for you, that's changed completely. And so I think one of the things will start to need to consider is how do we build AI systems that uh, we can almost host ourselves, in a way that, if our business architecture is relying on that, we're not stuck on the goodwill of another corporate entity, in hopes that it does
No,
the right
that's
thing.
where I'm talking about companies like Vivo, and I'll mention it more, and it's VYVO launches at the end of the month in the United States. It's going to be on the blockchain, private for everyone, and have more intelligence than the others, they're saying. I will wait and see, but that's what I'm hearing. And I'm going to go under the hood more, like I go under the hood on anything. But I think that if you can find something as strong as ChatGPT that could be that won't steal your ideas,
Right.
that's going to be huge. If they can build an AI that's going to be off the grid, that might be the best thing.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about this the other day. It came as a real eureka moment. I was like, OpenAI's original mission was to be open source. We've gone away from that completely. Um, why isn't it that now that we have this open source contender that allows us to um have these lower barriers to entry, right? Because all these other companies, Microsoft and Anthropic, they've got data centers and tons of money to throw out for training. But
Are they open
so,
source? So who's the only open source right now? It'll be Llama 3, right? What other ones are open
yeah,
source?
Llama's one, but there's a few other ones. I'm not I'm not not a few come to mind yet. I don't have them in front of
Yeah,
me.
but there are definitely
Yeah,
ones that can
there are a
build, companies
few.
that can build open
But
source.
how can one of these compete is I want to start to figure out. And so I'm just curious if maybe in the future, coming soon, maybe we have this collective open source AI model where everyone contributes, and it's just like Bitcoin, where instead of uh, each computer would help with processing power, right? As opposed to us buying a bunch of data
Right.
centers and spending billions of dollars. We just use the power of our computers collectively to actually build the AI data or
What
whatever.
I'm gonna go back to is voice.
It'll be pretty cool.
Voice AI is my favorite thing. And that's what I'm going to hone in as studying, spending time with. Because if we can create our own staff that we can research, talk to, and be able to become more productive with a personal assistant, that is the way AI should
Yeah.
go. I think they should be our great executive assistant because the top CEOs have executive assistants, the top people have executive assistants. If that can eliminate that phase and then maybe that executive assistant manage a team of 20 people, help you with your SOPs, it's a help, not the end all be all at the end of the day. And it's not reached singularity yet, and it's
Yeah,
getting
it's not
there.
singularity.
But
Yeah.
I think that Altman sold us a bill of goods. But I'm going to go deeper into it by on my show talking about all the platforms, because if you went and did a man on the street, all people know is ChatGPT.
That's very true. Everybody's trying to consolidate to be that number one player. We'll see what happens in the future.
I
Uh,
think Meta is going to be dangerous if Meta just gives everything for free.
yeah, that'll be well, public trust, right? Like, I don't think a lot of people are going to trust Facebook for their data at this point, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
Come on now, you
Um,
want John Cena to be your voice guy to talk to? So
yeah, I
that
love
would
John
you?
Cena. Is that
Now,
is
did
that
you see that they have a John Cena voice for free on Voice AI on Meta? Check it out.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. They have different things, different strokes for different folks. But where can they go? Where can go people go, Christopher? Check
Well,
you.
come check us out at uxbrite.com, where you can check out our website. And then we also have Substack where we'll talk more on advanced tech topics like this here, either on the product development side, AI, and just tech in general, what the future is,
I
innovation.
never thought I'd be a techie, but you got to say I'm on my way with some of these knowledge on the AI models. I love AI. I call myself not an expert in AI. I'm an AI aficionado and a health aficionado. I'll never call myself an expert because I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, but it's better than a master of one. So there you go. Talk to you soon, Chris.
There you have
All
it.
right.